Alright, I originally thought Lubu was complete trash, power scaling wise and ROR. But I have done some research and I'm finally making a video on Lubu, so let's get into it. Is he the strongest human or one of the weakest to appear so far and to probably ever appear? Let's find out. Okay, I want to get this out of the way before we go deeper into this video. There are like 20 statements varying from Lubu being the strongest in China, strongest in history, strongest beneath the heavens, strongest but in like the three kingdoms. There's like 20 of them. I'm not gonna put them all in this video. I'm only gonna put like the ones that I would deem to be the most impressive. And if you need the other ones, you can always just hit my Discord and I'll give them to you if I have the time. But anyways, let's get back to the normal video. So yeah, the first scan is in the spin-off. He's questioned to be the strongest man beneath the heavens. And I think basically everybody in that manga just confirms that like Lubu is uncontestably the strongest beneath the heavens after this scan, of course. He was even stated to be classified as a war god, being unmatched under the heavens, and that his only opponent would be up in the heavens after he fought the Demon King. Too bad Lubu isn't the war god, and instead we got Ares, but you know, whatever. When Lubu meets the red hair, they're both stated to be the peak of their respective species. Each one of them is the strongest. This means that Lubu is the strongest human at this time period. I'm only gonna say this time period. You can try to highball it to just the strongest human in the species just overall, but that's it for this skin, at least for my interpretation of it. You could rat with it. So this is Red Hair's introduction, where it is stated to be the strongest in the world, but then it said no. You could either think that it's a further elaboration or if it's a correction, whichever one you think is up to you. It could make sense for him being the strongest in the world if you take his feat against Thor's hammer full power while Lubu was riding it. I'll get into that feat later on in the video, but that's it for this scan. Let's move on. In his fight with the 7 gods, he was able to stop the flow of blood from his foot when he got pierced by the shield of the like child. He got stabbed by a ripoff Dr. Octopus. He just shrugged off his arm getting pierced by a poisonous crossbow. And just to show how much of a Chad he is, he took the strongest blow from Dong Zhao, the demon, just as a sign of respect. So the next scan, I don't think I've seen anybody actually use this scan. I don't think people know that it's in the first chapter of the spin-off. But he was stated to reach the summit of human potential. And after, he just killed himself because he was just bored. Now, I'm not going to repeatedly show every statement of him being called the strongest. Just take my word for it. There's like 10 statements in this fight of him being labeled as the strongest because Thor is there too. So that's like, oh, their title of the strongest, whatever. It's there. I think nobody's going to disagree with me that statement's there. So normally I would go over their performance in the fights, but I already made a video explaining Lubu's performance against Thor and why he was set up for failure. But I'll just capitalize on that and just say, hey, Lubu was able to damage a lesser Thor, but once Thor awakened, he was just not able to contend with them anymore. He was stated to be equal to the lesser Thor, but you could argue a little bit stronger. But overall, he reached the summit of potential for a human. He was stated to be the strongest human in history to match up with the strongest god, being Thor, and is able to just regulate his blood flow and is incredibly durable from what the spin-off has shown. So now we go over the downsides of Lubu. What downside does his character and the way that he fights, or what anti-feats does he have? Well, let's talk about it, because there's actually not a lot, but there are a few that some characters in ROR could probably take advantage of. I'm just going to be straightforward. The dude is an entire psychopath. He's willing to take damage that isn't needed just to excite himself even more. Like, he could have dodged these. It was completely stated. Even the person that was throwing them was expecting it. No, he just took them. Every durability feat he has is also a detriment to his actual skill as a fighter. This is why he's not considered a tactical warrior. He will take as much damage as he wants to just to entertain himself. He only wants to fight the strong. So he'll take damage just to entertain himself. Just for that. Not to mention, the dude goes into battle with his weapon down. He's that much of a Chad. He just doesn't think his opponent's all that. He'll go in with his weapon down. He even removed his weapon in the spin-off. He just threw it to the side. So what are my final thoughts of Lubu? Well, it'd be a pain in my ass to defend Lubu in character, because that's what I like to do in inverse. When he goes into a fight with his weapon down, is willing to weaken himself and take damage just to excite himself, because apparently he gets like a boner out of getting damaged and fighting. So it's like Goku on but Goku at least doesn't get like fatally wound. Oh, I can't go that far. Goku's kind of same brain, well, mentally deficient as Lubu at this point. He does have good statements though, with the whole reaching the summit of potential for human strength, to the point he killed himself. I want to dock out points for that, but I used to think he was like the weakest human because I just didn't like him. Once I reread the spin-off, I actually had to change my mind on Quincy Yang versus Lubu. But yeah, overall, he's alright. Yeah.